Good evening. Welcome to the Toon Review, where myself and Stato are here to bring you one of two this week, actually, transfer shows. But we'll do all the rigmarole first. If you are new to this place and you are seeing us for the first time, hit that subscribe button. We are on the way now to 29,000 subscribers, just past the 28k last week. Give us a thumbs up. Very important you do that, because that does push up the search results on YouTube and gets us through to like-minded football supporters and fans alike. Also, super chats are available by clicking the $sign, and you can also become a member of this community by clicking the join button, and it'll take you to a payment route there. How are you, Stato?
Excited. Two transfer shows, interesting things to talk about. It's talking about promise and new signings and a better squad and a developing squad. So it's fun to speculate and it's fun to have a look at what we might sign.
Absolutely, and all these players have been linked in the press. It's not like willy-nilly. We don't just pick them out of the hat. They are actually linked in the press. So we have got a reason to do them. We'll do a few comments first. Case Paul says, can you do a new manager show? That's an interesting point. We're not actually looking for a new manager at the moment, but
there may be a time when that is a show, but it is not now. I think it'd be a bit disrespectful to be doing that.
I tend to agree with that, even though I'm kind of slightly over the side of the fence. Jan says, Eddie Howe's loyalty over logic. This is the video that Chris has put out on Evermore NUFC today. An excellent show. If you haven't seen it, get yourself over to Evermore to watch that. But Chris puts out some good points there. I enjoyed that show. Two Games says, Botman's done his knee again, and they are deciding if to finally do the op now, which he needed months ago, as if so most likely to be out for 6 to 9 months, depending on recovery. I haven't heard about that. Have you, Stato?
No, I don't know where we got that from, and I'm not trusting in the no sources, because I appreciate that there are some people floating around, whether it's journalists or other people that do have connections inside the club. You know, everybody's got a friend or a brother or a sister or a wife of a physio or of a doctor. Like, yeah, of course, people might hear things, and some of it might be on point, but it's too much noise for me to, you know, have a concrete opinion on that. I mean, we'll just have to wait and hear for some official confirmation. I am wearing my not in the know t-shirt today, guys. So no in the know stuff. It's purely facts that we're going to try and deal with.
Obviously, we will talk about that if and when it happens, of course, is and when. Toon Game also says Tino should be back for the West Ham match. Reports have said today. Been an interesting selection choice for him, Stato, won't it? With Trippier potentially back also. Does Tino go to left back? Lewis Hall's appearance at the weekend might have put him into stead as well. Be interesting selection problem for him.
Logic dictates no. Logic dictates it's going to be Burn at left back and Trippier at right back. Yeah. It's what he's shown us before. There's no reason for me to expect it's going to change. I would like it to change, but I don't think it will. No,
I tend to agree with you. Even to Tom, who's modding in the background. Hiya, Tom. And David Noble, rough-eyed Venetian. David also says, who knew that Dan Burn wasn't a left wing back apart from Eddie Howe?
Well, Graham Potter played him as a left wing back, so he's not the only manager to do that.
Apparently, we scouted Chris Rigg at the weekend, the young Newcastle United supporter who's managed to find himself in the clutches of the Mackhams, of course. I don't know how old he is these days. Yeah. Is he 18 yet? Is he 16, 17, 18?
I think he's still young.
He's very young.
I can't remember the name of the scout. Yeah, one of the scouts was there. I think Nixon was there. And
Mick Tate, I believe.
That was it. I can confirm it. It was... yeah, it was Mick Tate. According to the Chronicle, that was.
Yeah. Mick Tate used to play for Carlisle many moons ago. But
didn't know that.
Really well. I'm talking about the 70s or 80s when they were in the top league at the time. They were there for one season at 75, and he played from then. Second game arranged in Australia, apparently.
A second game.
Yeah, interesting. Stato's actually in the chats. He's saying hello to everyone. People are asking where in Australia. Good evening to Bob Black. I hope you're all interesting video tonight. It is. We've got some good players to look at. The Rough Obligation says games nods could be shrewd move if kickoff timed right. All of Southeast Asia, Japan, South Korea, most of China would be able to watch live. This is a big growth area, and this would help grow fan base and revenue. Yeah, good point, actually. It's just this timing of it, though, isn't it? I mean,
possible, but again, it's like I mentioned this yesterday on the show about Spurs. I don't think that's a good call because everybody's going to like Ange and Tottenham. There are ways to do it. I mean, it depends who. Does anybody know who this second game is against? Have we got? Is there like official confirmation? Has this come from a journalist or from the club, or is it just suspected that we've got a second match? Well, I would think a second match. We wouldn't go all the way to Oz to play one game.
It's against the A-League All-Stars, apparently.
It is going to be the A-League All-Stars. Okay, that would be really, really interesting. That I'm all down for. Tottenham, an interesting game like an All-Stars game. Yeah, it could be cool for sort of generating a bit of interest in that part of the world.
At the Marvel Stadium, Melbourne, and their first game's at the MCG against Tottenham, which is the Melbourne Cricket Ground, of course.
Have we definitely got confirmation of this, or
this is just what Team Game was saying? I mean, I don't think he'd just make it up, surely. Oh, Sam, I hope you're okay. Also, good evening to Ronald and Paul and a few others. This is interesting. Said there is an area in New South Wales where there's a host to towns named after places in the northeast, Morpeth, Peel or Maine, and so on. That is interesting. Anyway, what we've got here. Lots of people saying hello to each other. 10 games left in the season, of course. More than enough ready to get things right. No more excuses. That's a good point, isn't it, Stato? It is an important 10 games, isn't it, as well?
I don't think it really matters anymore at this point. I think I know that's horrible to say. I don't really care. I just want to see. I want to see enough points to try and claw back 7th place, and I want to see an improvement in performances. I want us to start learning from tactical mistakes, from personnel selection. I'm not overly bothered. I'm going to set the bar low. I want to see everything I've just listed. 7th it would be good for me. I'd be okay with 7th, and I just want to see some improvements on the pitch, some tactical shifts, and that's my bar at the moment. Obviously, it's going to be tough, but the fixture list isn't overly difficult. We've played the top 4 already twice. Like there are games in there we should really be winning. We've got lots of home games in that cluster of 10. We're good. We tend to be good at home. Trippier's coming back as well. There's no reason why we shouldn't be picking up a reasonable amount of points and pushing for 7th. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to take each game as it goes.
Toon Gamer says Forest docked 4 points. Yeah, strange, isn't it? Over the ceiling more than Everton were, yet got docked less. Interesting.
No, so that's not the case. It was they were docked 8, and they removed 2 of the 8 because they were willing to cooperate. It was mitigation. So, and I think Forest was 34 million, and Everton's was something like 19. So yeah, Forest was more. Therefore, there was going to be a higher points deduction, but they removed 2 because they cooperated straight away.
So Forest got 6 then.
Forest have got 6. Well, is it 6? Some people are saying 4.
Pretty sure it's 4.
Well, maybe it's just 4 then. Okay, I think it was whatever it was, 6 minus 2 or 8 minus a few more. It was purely down to the fact they cooperated, and yeah, it was more. It was getting on close to double over what Everton had done, and it still rubs me up the wrong way. I hate this. I hate the fact that again Everton's 19 mil over, Forest are 34 mil over, and Manchester United are allowed to operate with 773 million pounds of debt. I don't care if it's different. It's an arbitrary line in the sand that we've drawn to suit certain clubs, and it's disgusting, and it needs to change. It's just horrible.
Couldn't agree more. Stato, do you want to get your first player up? I mean, this could be in it because I don't know who it is, so it's going to be a kind of surprise to me too. Let's see who we've got first. Can't even read the small writing.
We're going to start off with his sofa score because he doesn't have a picture on FBref. So,
okay.
Do you want to whack it up?
Yeah, can do. Here we go. Kevin Zenon.
So, Kevin Zenon, I'm going to say, from Argentina. So, this guy, this is a really interesting one because everybody keeps complaining that we need to do things the way Brighton are doing things. Well, interesting comparison. This is the Valentin Barco replacement for Boca.
Right.
So, Barco went to Brighton. Highly publicised January transfer move. A lot of people frustrated about that because I think he was going to be a free transfer in the summer anyway. This guy came in from Athletic Club. I forgot the name of them. I'll have to have a look. He got brought in January as the Barco replacement, as a left-sided player. Seems to be one of those kind of Lewis Hawley, I can play anywhere at the left side. 22 years old though, so he's a little bit older. He's not a baby. He's not an 18-year-old. He is. Let's go down and have a look. So they've paid. I think they paid 3 or 4 million for him. He's currently worth about 6 on Transfermarkt. Positioning and playmaking. Now I've watched quite a lot of this guy in the last 2 days. Very playmaky for a left-sided player, and for somebody he's played quite a few minutes at fullback as well. Kind of a Union, that's it. Athletic Club there. Is it Union? Is that the right? I can't remember the name. Something like that. So yeah, playmaking. His playmaking is actually quite ridiculous in some of the stuff I've watched. Little dinks over the top, round the corner passes, reverse passes, playing people through. It's just something we don't have in our left backs at the moment. It's not. I'm not. It's such a foreign concept to me. Is a left back playing a through ball? I don't think Dan Burns ever played a through ball. I'm not sure he knows what that is. So to be fair to him, right, I'll take you to his FB ref because obviously people are maybe a bit confused as to why I'm not starting on FB ref. It's kind of had a bit of a fit. I'm not sure what's wrong with it. It doesn't seem to show his minutes from the most recent season. He's obviously at Boca. It's not recorded any of his Boca games, and he has played recently. So we've got him. We've got 1,000 minutes of data, but I'm not confident where FB Ref is pulling this data from. I'm not sure. So I would take this with an enormous pinch of salt because I don't know. I think he might be a little bit better than what this is letting on, potentially, data-wise. And again, he's playing most of his minutes recently at left midfield for Boca Juniors. So I think fullback, I would really, really, really take this with a massive pinch of salt. I think this is wrong, personally. However, it's still interesting to have a look at the numbers specifically. Just under 6 progressive passes per 90. Take-ons are reasonably high, and he's okay at progressive carries. It's above average. So there's a lot of ball progression here, and a lot of impetus to get forward as a left-sided, whether he's going to be a fullback or whether he's going to be a left mid, whatever he is. Creates a lot of shots. So what he does is getting 3 shots for teammates per 90, which is as a result of his playmaking that obviously SofaScore mentioned. So that's really, really tidy. Just over a shot per game, which as a fullback, that's a lot, but it doesn't mean he's playing. Again, this could be completely juiced due to the fact he's not playing fullback, really. I've actually put him against Harvey Barnes just for a bit of a laugh because again, I don't think we can rely on this because I think this is percentile ranks, and I think because his is Kevin Zenon's is fullbacks. Ignore this completely. I think this is nonsense. Ignore that. That's not going to be fair at all on Harvey Barnes. Had a look at players to compare him by. Lyndon Gooch for Stoke City. Never seen him play, but what a terrible name.
Well, he used to play for. It was at Sunderland for years, mate.
It was he a Sunderland player? Probably.
He's on Sunderland till I died. He went to Stoke last summer, I believe.
Oh God, I must have removed him from my memory. I've never seen Sunderland until I died because I just never, not interested at all. So we'll go back to his SofaScore then. It's going to make a bit more sense if I show you how he's played in recent matches. It's going to be more relevant data and up to date. So if we go and have a look, again, it does say on SofaScore he's a left midfielder. And if we have a look at some recent matches, it is all left midfield. So Boca, you will see some familiar faces from Boca at the moment because Cavani's gone there. So he's not retired yet. I know he's really old, but he's doing quite well for Boca. He's smashing them in. So the most recent game, I really don't know what happened there. There was an abandoned game against Estudiantes. I'm not sure why. Anyway, we'll ignore that, the South American shenanigans. So against Racing, it was a 4-2 game. Cavani getting on the score sheet. So they lined up in a 4-4-2. I'm not sure that's how it actually looked. And then with him on the left-hand side, dropping a 6.4 with a yellow card. 2 very similar performances in the last 2 games. If I actually click and show you the data for this game, heat map suggests very, very left-sided, involved in set pieces. So he was involved in out swinging corners from that side with his left foot, which is interesting. Obviously, a lot of emphasis on getting the ball to Cavani, lots of crossing. So he's trying to have a go there. And actual data for this game is, again, a couple of crosses, couple of long balls, 3 key passes. There's the creativity. You don't get those kinds of metrics from Adam Byrne. Also, maybe needs to grow a little bit physically. I mean, that when I saw this when doing research, that concerned me slightly. 5 out of 19. It does seem like a one-off, though. He seems a little bit better across the park in physical duels. This one, he just got bullied a little bit. It depends who his opposite number is. Again, I'm not overly familiar with Bruno Zuccolini, whoever he is. So he did apparently get bullied a little bit physically in this game. So it is what it is. Some of his more positive games recently, he did play against the club that sold him. Union, there we go, there they are. And he did a very similar performance on the left-hand side in a 4-4-2. Some better games. This was a Cavani hat-trick, I believe. Yes, it was. Cavani hat-trick against Belgrano. And they changed shape a little bit in a 4-1-3-2. There you go, 9.1 from Cavani. So Zenon again on the left-hand side. Oh, no. How do we get rid of that?
Cavani sunk the Belgrano then, by the sound of things.
He did, definitely. So this was that game here. So heat map is, considering he's a left midfielder, I don't think he took his positional instructions very well because he's everywhere. I mean, that's not the heat map of. It's not normally what sort of a Trippier provides or something like that. He's all over the place. One cross out of 7. I mean, he's tried a lot of crosses, a key pass, 3 long balls, 3 successful dribbles. Again, his success rate. He just seemed like there's such an emphasis on getting forward. 6 out of 8 ground duels. See, that's what I meant. That one game, I think, was maybe a little bit of a mismatch, physical blip. He seems okay from what I've seen. You know, I've been through most of this first page, and he seems fine. He's had a really, really positive game against Central Cordoba, which is all over the internet in highlights. If you actually YouTube this guy, this is a game that gets shown a lot because obviously he scored and got an assist in it. So it's one of his better games for the club. And he played on the right. So he had a little inverted game, which has done him wonders because it was a 4-2-3-1 with no Cavani in the side. He's dropped an 8.8. He scored. He's assisted. So if we scroll over, this is him here. So he's I think he swapped sides. He's played on both sides this game. He's caused them chaos. 2 key passes, 2 crosses. He's had 4 shots at goal that game. 1 was blocked, which is fine. 5 successful dribbles. A big chance missed. Really, really tidy physically. And he got a free kick for his team. So, and then obviously got his goal and his assist. So, yeah, a left midfielder, a versatile left-sided player. I would say there's not. I know he's technically classed as a fullback on FBref, but I've not, from everything I've seen on the internet and from everything I've seen on paper here, he's a midfielder. He's a left midfielder. Again, we have lots of those, which is concerning. So I don't know if we'd buy this kind of guy to play as a fullback. I'm not sure if that's going to cut the mustard, to be completely honest with you. This is his transfer marks. So he's not capped at international level yet, not even for the youth setup. So from Goya in Argentina, he is a Boca fan. So what I gave you guys a little hint in the chat before we started. So when he joined, he said, "Es un sueño. Mi familia somos de Boca." He's from Boca. His family are all about Boca. He's Boca mad. So it's a dream for him to join this club. 177. What's that in real money? 5'10", just about 5'10". So reasonable height. Again, we can never always fully trust the height metrics on these websites. So they picked him up for a bit, between 3 and 4. So market value. So yeah, they paid 3.2 million euros for him. He's currently worth 6. So he's pretty much doubled in value according to Transfermarkt since they picked him up a few months ago. And it is a fat contract. His contract runs until 2028. So we'd have to pay a big lump of change to get this guy out of Boca. Although they'd probably take reasonable money for him, to be fair. That's the kind of thing that they dream of. The European clubs coming and dropping 20, 25, 30 million on somebody like this because it's good for the books. In terms of agency as well, Capital Group SM, I think this is the most expensive guy in their books. Yes, he is. So kind of irrelevant to what we're looking at. We don't really care about the rest of these people. Sorry, guys. Let's go back. And yeah, no caps. Oh, it's moving me around. Yeah, no caps at international youth level. And he is 22 now. So he's going to need to improve drastically if he's going to get a shout in the Argentinian senior team, because that's a tough ask. Yeah. Kevin Andres
player.
Zenon. We always got to have a look at. We've got to rate the middle name. Would we sign him based on the middle name? I like him. I just don't see where he would fit into our squad because I don't think he's a fullback. I don't think he's definitely not a fullback for Premier League level. From what I've just seen minimally in the last few days, would be a really interesting young attacking talent as an attacker. But we've got Gordon and Barnes,
and Hall, just
and
in
Hall.
case. Yeah.
And Target and Burn. And we've made our bed in this regard, unless this is to offset sort of left-footed players leaving the squad in Dummett and Ritchie. Maybe. But I'm not sure why we've even been linked with this guy. I don't know, but it's exciting to have a look at a Boca Juniors player. But and I know there were reports of Nixon being in Brazil. I don't know if he was in Argentina. I think we know he was in South America generally, and we've got stuff going on, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, what was he like? What you saw of him? Was he quick? was he rapid?
He was very quick, but it was really high technical levels. He was sort of plucking the ball out of the air with his feet and one step ahead of people. And it was the playmaking that I really, really liked. It was just reading play better. He was just playing quick 6-yard passes round the corner that people weren't predicting and just releasing his whole team on a counter attack or releasing a striker on a run. He got that little eye. He'd got that vision. Not even the vision. It's the hindsight. He knows where to play a pass because he knows where people are going to end up being in 3 to 5 seconds time. He had a really good eye. I liked that about him. And it's for a 22-year-old kind of, you don't always get that, and not in his position either. You get that from playmaking midfielders, and maybe long ball hitting anchors and centre halves. But from a left-footed, wingy kind of guy, there were a lot of really funny reverse passes and chips. So when Bruno does those little 1-2 and then chip over the top for Miggy, he does funny similar versions of that, and there's a lot of that in his game, which was really, really interesting because we've got none of that on our left side. None of it.
That's true. So, that is very true. Maybe a squad player. I mean, I don't know. Depends on the price, I guess. So you're not going to spend 30 million on a squad player, but interesting player. Absolutely. Retro Andy says, "Is it possible we do a sell keep show on players we have? Love the in-depth shows. Thanks, guys." I guess that's something we may look at in the future. Sam enjoyed the Evermore show with Chris. Yeah, it was an excellent show. Made some excellent points. Even to Russell. Martin says, "Would you guys like Ellis Sims from Coventry? Seems a good striker, albeit in the Championship. He's very raw, powerful. Was at Sunderland last season on loan from Everton. Don't think so. I think we missed the boat on Coventry strikers. I think the one we should have got was the one that left there last summer, Mr. Giorgio, who's now they're asking 80 million for him now, and they're probably going to get it in the summer. So interesting. Even to you, Mary. Even to Julie J. Chronicle said about Botman apparently about his operation. That's in the Chronicle. We've got a new member, Mike Elliott. I'll have some more starred things here. So let's see what else we've got. We've got Ian Fleming's been a member for 19 months. Evening, Billy and Alex. Let's hope this break gets the team back on track and up the table. Agree with that. Case balls, £5 from him. So Hall not up to scratch. Energy, pace, and so cool on the ball. Another Halcock up. Tino our player of the year and won't even get in his first 11. Joke. I think Case ball maybe a discerner. George T, thanks for your £5 super chat. Wife was watching Bocca's game last night and it was abandoned in the first half due to a serious injury to a player. Hope it wasn't him. Yeah, that's interesting. And 79 pence super chat from Annie. Thanks, Annie. Hope you're well, mate. Really appreciate that, buddy. Let's get back to the comments, which I've lost all of a sudden. There we go. We're back to where we were. Tom says, my aunt's dog's cousin is a security guard dog at the training ground. Reckons it's 100% true. South Links 2 says, heard that Ostrip was Spurs v Chelsea, but FA Cup changed plans. That probably is. That's probably right, actually. Yeah, because I mean, Chelsea are still in, aren't they? So, even to Darren, Peter McCardle says, hi, Billy and Statter, which one player would you like us to sign? Guarassi for me, but Stuttgart could qualify for Champions League.
Florian Wirtz.
Yeah, God, definitely, without a doubt. Florian Wirtz, fantastic.
Did you see the game the other night?
Oh,
Jesus Christ. If anybody hasn't seen Bayer Leverkusen this season, please watch Bayer Leverkusen. I've never seen such a dominant team in games. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. It's like Klopp's original Liverpool on steroids, except it's the wing backs are just frightening. Like Grimaldo is a left-sided Trent, what he was doing when he was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Frimpong's just a nightmare to deal with. Xhaka is so calming. It's out, and Florian Wirtz pulling the strings as one of the world's best 10s. It's just ridiculous. It's filthy. I couldn't believe it. Patrick Schick with 2 late goals for Bayer Leverkusen to win was just disgusting. They're so good.
At Freiburg, wasn't it?
No, that was against Karabakh. That was the Azerbaijani champions in Europe.
Oh, right, the one in Europe you saw. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, so Wirtz. It'll be interesting to see how Germany get on in the Euros this summer, because they've got some good young players, haven't they? Peter Griffin says worst teams than us turn up to the Etihad and play considerably better, which is so annoying. I'm just disappointed with the intent, if I'm perfectly honest. That's the main thing for me. The intent of it all. Need new centre backs as a priority. Number 1, says Mr. Brewer. Don't know if we've got any centre backs on the thing tonight. Stato's, it's a total surprise for me. I'm as much in the dark as you guys are.
We may have. We
shall see. Evening to KB over in Belfast. Hope you're well. Walden got in the 21, so he beat the Mackham this afternoon. Says, yep, they did. Any thoughts on why he's so reluctant to change? You're talking about Eddie now with the team. I guess managers do trust certain players, don't they? And obviously we've got differences of opinion with Eddie Howe, but he's the one that sees him every day in training. So, I don't know. I am kind of on the other side of the fence now, so I can't really say. But Eddie's stubbornness not to make glaring obvious changes is going to increase the pressure on him. Love Eddie, but some baffling selection and in-game decisioning this season, which you can't really disagree with, can you, Stato? Even as someone who's not quite over the fence yet. He's right what he says there, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm at a point where I can't. I just don't understand it anymore. But I'm still, I still back him. I don't know. We'll see. I'm happy to let the rest of the season run its course, and we'll see what changes and what he learns, and maybe he's just keeping faith with players. Who knows? We'll just have to see.
It's interesting because, the wing-back thing the other day, and if it was a case of not playing Lewis Hall because of appearances, but he brought him on anyway, so it was just strange, really strange. It was as if we'd given up the ghost before the game had even started, which, that's... I know it's Man City, but still, you still got to try. But there you go. Good evening to Christina. She's in Tennessee. Hope you're well. Have we got another player that who's the next one on the list tonight?
Well, it is one from our league, so you may possibly know him.
Vinicius Souza, Sheffield United.
So this is an interesting one. I can't remember where we got linked. I'll have a look who linked us to him. A really odd one. I kind of really like this guy. I just don't think he's appropriate for our team. I'm not sure. From what I've seen of him in the Premier League this season, I'm not sure the technical level's high enough or the ball progression. I think he's really good at what he does, but it's a small bracket. Like he wins the ball, basically, everyone. He wins the ball lots. And you'll see what I mean when I scroll down in a second. I know this guy from Football Manager because he's played in the lower leagues in Belgium, I think it was. And I think Espanyol picked him up in Spain and gave him a chance. I think he only got one season in Spain and then he got bought by Sheffield United. So 6'1", 6'2", depends if we're rounding up. 24-year-old Brazilian, but he's not the kind of Brazilian. He plays a bit more like a 6'2" Vinnie Jones, to be fair. Well, maybe not Vinnie Jones, but it very much linchpin in front of the back four who kicks people.
I wonder if Souza is Spanish or Portuguese for Jones.
Well, I mean, Foxy's just summed it up perfectly there. He's a good player for mid-table Prem teams, and give him credit. Second most tackles in the Prem behind Paulinho. Yeah, he sits in front of the back four, and if the ball goes anywhere near him, he takes the ball off anybody. He's just really good at recovering the ball. But then he doesn't do a lot else with it. And I think we're at that point now where we need to buy people that can do what he's doing, plus a bit more. We need a bit of everything. We need a jack of all trades. So he's on reasonable money, 30 grand a week. You know, we could increase that 2027. So he's on a reasonable contract as well. They've only just bought him, really. So we'd have to pay a fair amount to get him out of Sheffield United, to be fair. And I don't think it's worth what we would have to pay to get him, because we'd have to pay a lot. I think, you know, if we offer, I think they paid, I can't remember what they paid for him. I mean, we can have a look. They paid, if it wants to scroll down, 12. Yeah, they paid 12. So I think if we offered anything 15 or lower, they would say go fish. I think.
Well, I guess it depends if they get relegated or not, doesn't it? They might be...
It does, yeah. I mean, he's got one goal this season. It was a really tidy goal. Good take from outside the box, right-footed shot in the left corner. It was a nice goal. He played a lot of minutes, and then you're about to see exactly what I mean and why I was talking about defensive numbers. Yeah. So if the ball is anywhere near him, it just becomes his ball. He's like got a gravitational pull. His pass completion rate is below average. Take on rate is below average. His job is from what I've seen, is get the ball, pass it to somebody, and just let them do things. He stands in front of the back four, but the tackle rate is just obnoxiously high, as is the clearances, aerials. It's elite tackle numbers. It's incredible, but there's just not really anything else to work with. Once he's got the ball, he can't really do anything with it, so you're then stuck. We want somebody. This is why Joe Linton's such an exceptional player, because he can do all of this combative stuff, and then he can go progress the ball as well, which is quite a decent quality to have somebody who can do all of that. It's why Joe Linton's quite sought after, and there were rumours of Liverpool and things like that, because it's not too many players that can do that to that level. And yeah, if we scroll down and have a look, as Foxy says, his highest stat match is Paulinho. He is profiling similar to that, although he hasn't got quite as much in his locker. And if we scroll down, so his career to date, I've got a complete scouting report. That was my fault. I've got something interesting to show you as well. If we have a look at his scouting reports, so if we're going to have a look at last season in La Liga, he played the same. So it's not like because he's been put in a harder league. So his pass completion rate in Spain, well, is this comparing in La Liga? I mean, it's about the same. He's not cleared 80% success rate there. Again, it's all tackles. And then if you go and have a look at his last season in Belgium, it's also very similar with slightly better passing, because he's in Belgium and it's a little bit easier. He's probably got fractions of a second more on the ball, and it's a little bit easier for him. So you can see that gradual decline in passing quality as he's stepped up to a harder league and then an even harder league. But regardless of wherever he's been, ball is his, always. It's his ball. He will take the ball home with him. So I'm not keen on this one, guys. It's really fun. It's a really fun player to look at, because he's got really interesting skill sets, but very odd for a Brazilian as well. But positioning, tackling, ground jewels. If you go and look at highlight reels of him, there's him snatching the ball off Bruno, Miggy, Paqueta in the West Ham games. Like, he snatches the ball off a lot of top players. And I didn't mean Miggy in that. But yeah, he's not bad at it. And if we scroll down and have a look at how he's profiling, he's done quite well recently, which is possibly why there's been articles about him moving to clubs. But yeah, I mean, if we have a look at, this is the game he scored. To be fair, he put in an absolute behemoth performance against Luton. It was outrageous. But it is. I can't say it's Luton because we lost. I can't say it's Luton anymore because we didn't beat them. Right, there he is in the middle of a 5-4-1 with Cameron Archer spearheading that. So there he is, 7.8 with his goal. He spent most of the time stood in front of his goalkeeper, apparently. So, yeah, he's very defensive. But it worked. He got his goal, 72% passing accuracy, 2 long balls. And then there you go. This is where he's earned his money, down here. Look at that. 8 out of 9 aerial duels, 7 out of 9 ground duels, 7 clearances, 6 tackles. It's just a monster, absolute monster. get anywhere near him, you're not going to win the ball.
Give a
It's just
penalty
really,
away.
and he did give a penalty away, but he scored, so it's fine. He scored. It doesn't matter. That kind of makes it fine. Yeah,
I do wonder if I mean, playing for Sheffield United and winning the ball and maybe just hoofing the ball away, and maybe that's why his pass completion is so crap.
I mean, he's not slow either. There are clips of him matching. So in that Luton game, who was there? What's the name of their 7? Ogbonne,
yeah.
I don't know how to say his name. That 7 who absolutely skinned us because he was so fast. There are clips of Souza, this guy, matching him for pace and taking the ball off him, which is really impressive because that kid was so fast. So he's not slow, but I mean, yeah, started in Flamengo, went to Belgian clubs, got a season at Espanyol, got his big move to the Prem. Current market value is set at 12. I really like him. I would probably sign him on Football Manager, or for if I was playing. You know, if you're a Palace or a Sheffield United, if you need a warrior in midfield that's just going to win everything, this is a good signing for certain teams. I just don't see how I don't know how he fits into our team at all. I just don't think it works. Yeah, we could probably do with. I mean, could we? I don't know. No, I'm going to say no. I'm waffling. I'm going to say no. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work in our team. A really interesting player, interesting profile. I do like him, but it's not for us at all. I don't know if anybody else can vouch for him and can argue as to why he should sign for us, but I just can't see it.
Interesting. He is an interesting player, though. A proper battling ram, isn't he? Battering ram from the defence, I guess. Let's see what people are saying about him. Not many people saying anything about him, to be fair. Peter Griffin says maybe Vinicius Souza would be like Joao Pedro, where he'll play much better in a better side. Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, if you put him in a side that's got a lot more of the ball, is that, again, this is something as normal people outside the footballing world, we're not privy to his underlying metrics in training. Does he have the added ability to go and play in a more progressive team who have more of the ball? Not that we are that at the moment, but we have been. There's no champagne football currently, but it doesn't look like it, but you never know.
JC Toon says, the thing that worries me is that Eddie spends many millions of pounds in the summer on players like Solanke and Billing, not the type of players to take us forward, in his opinion. Well, we can't say, can we? And so there are only tenuous links to these players. I think people are putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5 here, just because they play for Bournemouth. Honestly, until we see kind of concrete stuff, then who knows? Hello there, says Billy is my icon. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Hello there. I think Solanke would be decent in a better team. I do as well. I'm a fan of Solanke's, I must be honest. Poor Rachel. She's ill in bed tonight. Just realised the time. Well, get yourself better soon, Rach, and take things easy until you are better. We are sorry to hear that. Hello there, says Takuma Asano from Bochum would be cracking on a free. Well, we haven't been linked, but I guess we will do a free transfer at some point. Show at some point.
I think we've already done one, but we'll do another one as we get closer to the end of the season.
Benjamin Shesko says, Jackie, yeah, obviously we've been linked with him and we've done shows on him. We've done more than one show on him.
Not recently, unfortunately.
No. What would people think this for an FFP rule? A club like Man United that are always in debt have to have a certain fixed percentage of that debt reduce each term. Well,
they should be forced to reduce their debt. They should be forced to do it. That should get accounted into what they can spend and do. You shouldn't be allowed to operate like that and have no. It's ridiculous. It's again arbitrary line in the sand drawn to suit certain teams and not others.
Yeah, I don't think the Glazers would be very keen on that idea, though, would they? Reducing the debt. Susan might end up as the player that gets relegated every year. Yeah, the new Nigel Quasi, who was always relegated everywhere he went. Right, we've got another player. Last player, is it tonight, Alex? We've got now.
Yeah, I mean, somebody mentioned something a second ago, and I've lost who said it. But somebody mentioned he's the kind of player you'd take on a free. Yeah, I agree with that. This is the kind of guy that you would take on a free all day long as a squad player. Yeah, I'd take him on a free.
Yeah.
You know, instead of having sort of Hayden and Hendrick on the books that are just loaned out and not playing, this guy is 24. You can progress him. You can teach him a bit. he would be a deep squad rotation player. But again, you could probably flip him for a profit as well. So it'd just help us as we progress. But again, he's contracted until 2027. So it's a pointless conversation because he's not going to be free.
You know, Foxy's talked about these midfielders that have come from Flamengo. Paqueta, Joao Gomez, Souza, and he thinks that Hugo and Jesus will follow in their footsteps. So it'll be interesting to see their progression. Right, third player. We shall see. I've got no clue. Giorgio Scalvini.
Do you know him?
Nope.
You will absolutely love this kid, Billy. You will absolutely love this kid.
Atlanta. So must have seen him.
He is the next thing since sliced bread, crumpets, scones, and croissants, all of the things. Maybe not croissants because he's Italian, but it's just, yeah. We mentioned champagne football. This is a champagne defender. This is now, this is what De Ligt and Botman and those kinds of players were a few years ago. This is now the new kid on the block. This is the new young centre-half that everybody's frantically scrambling to try and sign, or one of them. He's, yeah, as JT Toons just rightly pointed out, yes, anybody who plays Football Manager, he's outrageously broken on that, and he's a very, very good pickup for that game. So who is he? Centre half. He's a right-footed centre half, 6'4.5" according to FB Ref. So he is an absolute unit. Considering he's 20 years old, that's rather tall. From Chiari in Italy. I'm guessing it's Chiari, not Chiari. 10,000 euros a week. So not a lot in terms of wages. I mean, I don't think we've got anybody on that in the senior squad. Possibly Miley. I think Miley got a new contract, didn't he? So I'd probably say Miley's on more than this, if not the same. So yeah, wages are not an issue, but again, it won't be the wages that he's getting now. It'll be what other teams offer him, which will be ludicrous. Contracted until 2028, so this is going to be the next big sort of sale for Atalanta, which is going to help them balance the book somewhat. So that he is going to sell for an awful lot of money. 26 appearances in Serie A this year, 2,000 minutes with 3 assists, with 5 appearances in the Europa League, with a goal as well in the Europa League. So he's playing European football at his age. He has also played for Italy, bearing in mind I will show you that. And if we scroll down, all the green. All of the green. And I would like to bring your attention to how many minutes this is based on at the bottom there in yellow. So over 3,000 minutes of data, and he's profiling this well. So this is exactly how this guy plays to a T. No pinches of salt with this data set. This is just a very good player. Defensive metrics are just outrageous. He doesn't tend to clear the ball. I'm guessing that's because he keeps it, I would imagine. His successful take-on rate is 0.5 per 90. So every other game, he'll kind of step past a presser and play the ball forward. Progressive carries is nice and high as well, so 1 per game. Over 4 progressive passes per game as well, which is very nice to have as a centre-half. High amounts of touches in the attacking penalty area with lots of progressive passes received. So it's quite normal for centre-halves to peak in these statistics because they're going to receive a lot of the ball from set pieces. Pass accuracy, maybe not the best. Again, is it because he's the guy tasked with playing those dangerous longer balls, or we'll have to see. I haven't watched too much Atalanta this year, so I'll have to kind of check why that is. There'll definitely be a reason, I would imagine. I can't see the reason just being he's not good at passing. I'd like to think there's a reason for that. I'm sure somebody who watches Atalanta will let me know. Shot creating actions for a centre half is really good as well. So he's allowing 1.31 shots, where he's creating that for his teammates, letting them have those shots from whatever he's doing prior to that. So whether it's a key pass or a through ball.
Which is strange, isn't it? If he's not got the high progressive passes kind of percentile there, how's he getting shot creating actions? Interesting.
Well, the shot creating actions are coming from his progressive passes.
Yeah.
So he's playing dangerous balls forward, which you're allowing, or this alternatively might come from headers back across goal in the box, or again, without watching all 3,000 minutes of this guy, it's speculation on some of the data. I can't, as detailed as I try to give this for people, I can't watch
I have a job, unfortunately. I can't watch all of these players infinitely and give you super, and again, I'm not a professional. This is just what I do for fun. A high amount of shot volume as well. I like the shot volume. He's getting close to a shot a game as a centre half. I'm guessing that's going to be from set pieces. We don't like centre halves having 30-yard pops unless your name's Fabian. So we'll scroll down and have a look. He is profiling very, very well. So Simikan is a name that is being banded around in footballing circles at the moment as a very good pickup and highly rated player. You've got Ikapia there as well, who we've done on transfer shows before at Leverkusen. Yep. You've got Levi Colwell, who everybody in this country knows is really, really good. You've got Pavard on this list. So some really, really interesting comparisons here. And career to date isn't overly exciting because it is one club. But he's played a lot of football for them. So considering he's only turned 20 recently, a few months ago, he's had kind of breakthrough half a season, 9 starts, 18 appearances, and then he's had 2 full seasons as a senior pro, pretty much. 29 starts, 32 appearances last season with 2 goals, 2 assists. So he's mucking in offensively. And then 25 starts so far this year. So he looks on track to maybe surpass what he did last year if he can stay fit, with 3 assists as well. Hasn't scored yet this year in Serie A. And if we have a look at his SOFA score, here he is. There's his rather cheeky face. So 44 million value on here. Push it down. Apparently he can play everywhere. All of the positions. And if we scroll down...
Bit of a Joe Gomez by the sound of things.
I think that's insulting to Scalvini. That's definitely chalk and cheese there. This guy is a level above. So some more positive games. I mean, we'll give you some realistic ones. A 2-2 draw against Juventus, even. So them with their funny 3-4-3 with Arkadiusz Milik up front for them, the Polish striker. So, and this is where Skamaka's ended up, by the way, for anybody who follows West Ham.
All right.
So Scalvini, left-sided centre-half in a back 3 with Ruggeri next to him. Oh, they've got Zappacosta as well. So Scalvini in this game, interesting. I wonder why he was at that side. I wonder what that was about. But yeah, obviously very left-sided dominant, despite being right-footed. So what really happened in this game? Not really much in terms of duels. 3 accurate long balls, fairly tidy passes. So not overly a lot to deal with. Potentially a lot of the attacks came from the opposite side, maybe in this game. In terms of higher rated games, he's had a few good games against the slightly easier teams in Genoa and Sassuolo. Obviously, more difficult performances against Milan, Inter. I mean, he can be forgiven for those. I mean, we didn't beat Milan either, to be fair. Inter put 4 past them, but Inter are on the rampage. They played Sporting in the Europa League as well with a 1-1. So let's have a look at the Lazio game, shall we? Oh my God, Charles de Ketelaere is actually scoring goals.
Yeah, he was at Milan last year, wasn't he? And I don't know if he's on loan there.
He was a really, really promising pickup that just didn't work out at all. It was I think it was one of the reasons Maldini all got cheesed off and things went wrong. So Scalvini, there he is. Let's scroll over and have a look at this game. So he played on the right side. Oh yeah, he's played on the right side. So he's flexible. He's playing everywhere across that back line. And he's got what? Clearance, block shot, a couple of tackles. He's won every single aerial duel, which is nice, considering, again, only 20 years old, but he's got the height for it. 2 out of 6 ground duels is a bit meh. 3 key passes is really nice to see. So good quality from the young man to be providing 3 key passes. Oh, and it's decided to reset the screen. Well, that's my cue to look at the transfer mark for you. So here is his transfer marked. So I'm just going to go straight to the Italy appearances because I think that speaks for itself. If he's 20 years old and he's got 7 senior caps, somebody thinks he's going to be the bee's knees because that's impressive. He's been with them all the way since sort of the U15s level, and he's got 7 appearances with his debut coming quite a long time ago, to be fair. That debut was June of 22. Like we're nearly at June. Oh, we've clicked on a button. We're nearly at June of 2024. So he made his debut nearly 2 years ago.
So 18, maybe just over 19.
Yeah, so extremely highly rated centre-half. Foxy says, I worry a lot when Scalvini plays in the back four. I don't think I've ever seen him play in a back four. I've not seen him loads. I've probably seen him play 4 or 5 matches ever. I've not watched an awful lot of Atalanta in the last couple of seasons since they kind of not been as prevalent in Europe as they were a while ago. I've only ever seen him play in a back 3, so I don't know if he could play in a back 4. Again, he's 20 years old, a 20-year-old centre-half. I'm sure he could learn the skill. It depends on a lot of other elements that we're not able to see, such as speed and athleticism and reading of the game. But it's something you'd have to watch. So, but I'm not sure we would go for this guy. I think that there's quite a few Welcome to Manchester United videos on YouTube about this kid, of him in a red shirt that people have photoshopped. So, not convinced. I'm not convinced that we'll ever get him. So I feel like it's just kind of a moot point doing the review on him. 2028 contract as well. His market value's at 45. Again, I feel like this is someone that they're just going to hold out for 60+ million pounds for. Like, this guy's going to be way more expensive than Botman was. Way more expensive.
Out of our price range, and you'd think, wouldn't you, with FFP, unless we sell someone for a hefty chunk of change, you wouldn't think he'd be in our price remit, would you?
You say that. There is an expensive purchase every summer. We've had your Isak and we've had a Tonali. So I would imagine he plays. Oh, of course, he plays in a back 4 for Italy. You are 100% right. I have seen him in a back 4, and yeah, fair point. What was I saying? I lost my point.
I can't remember. What about the price? Big money signing each summer, etc.
Yeah, exactly. So you would imagine, unless we completely lose the plot FFP wise, but everybody seems to be theorizing that with Adidas and players moving on, that we've maybe got more wiggle room than the club is letting on, and especially because the furthest away third year is going to drop off the books for FFP, isn't it? And it will be the most recent one where we've got Champions League money that's going to go into the books, and more revenue and runs to the finals and things like that. So it might look a little bit better potentially. So who's the big money signing going to be in the summer? Because I reckon there will be one. There's going to be. Will there be a player we sign for between 40 and 60? Yes, I think there will. So I don't think it's going to be this guy, though.
Unfortunately, because he looks an absolute beast, doesn't he? Absolutely. And there's some positive talks about him in the chat, that's for certain. What we've got now, then? People are saying, sign him up now. Sam said, take my yen, he's mint. So, yeah.
Take my yen.
Bal says, more green on my tray. There you go. Julie says, like Boslow, we all loved him when he went to Liverpool. One of the cartel will grab this guy. Potential.
Oh, he's played at St James's Park. Of course he has. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, because of course we will have seen him. I was actually at that game with Paul in the Leeds end, so I've seen him with my own eyes, and I completely forgot.
But what would you take notice of?
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't. Honestly, it wasn't who I was watching, to be fair. So,
Scalvini is class, hence the interest from Man United. They are rumoured to have already put a deposit on him.
A deposit.
Interested. Is he comfortable on the ball like Shares? Sounds like it, doesn't it? Who would be a big transfer for Alex, but definitely a great addition to the squad.
It'd be a really big transfer fee.
They're looking to build 2. Manchester United, of course, they always are, aren't they? Very good ball playing centre back, either centre left or right sided. Great young prospect as JT. And Bath thinks Eddie will go for Harry Maguire instead. I don't think so. Lenny Olivier Yoro from Lille.
Lenny Yoro, yeah.
Scalvini are the best 2 young centre backs in Europe right now, says Tristan. Interesting. Yeah. We definitely need a centre half. Says, can he play in goal? Get him in.
Well, speaking of centre halves, Billy, do you want to announce what we're doing?
Yeah, we're going to do another transfer show, basically exclusively for the Patreon. We're going to do that tonight, and it'll be up later in the week. So, if you are not yet joined up to the Patreon, get yourselves down there. The link is in the description below. Myself and Stato, and occasionally Tom also with some historical stuff. Do lots of podcasts on there. and it's exclusive to Patreon. Costs you a small fee each month, but it's worth it because it is exclusive stuff. But we're going to do someone else transfer fee wise, transfer rumor wise on there after this show. So get yourself signed up if you're interested in that. I think we're about to come to the end, haven't we? It says 30 or 40 million plus Longstaff.
Well, there were rumors. There were rumors today from the Mirror.
Yeah,
it was the Mirror specifically that Leeds are looking at a 15 mil bid for Longstaff in the summer if they actually get promoted.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It was from the Mirror, so again, big pinch of salt. But
yeah,
would we take 15 for Longstaff with 1 year left on his contract? I probably would.
Maybe. Says, does he like a bet?
Well, that's a good point. Hopefully not.
That's it. Comes to the end of the show, folks. 3 players. Not positive we'll get any of them, but it's worth looking at.
But if you are enjoying transfer stuff, we are looking at doing more content for transfer shows. We do have another transfer show tomorrow night, and we are looking at doing more slightly different variation of this on the Patreon, just sort of a transfer podcast where we'll probably do one player at a time, so we can deep dive a bit more into one player specifically. So yeah, if you are interested in that, obviously there's links down in the description for the Patreon. And we are and we do thank the people that have stuck with us on Patreon for a while as we're kind of getting our feet settled and delivering more content. We are trying to now do more podcasts for you on that platform. And of course, we will always do loads of free content on here for you as well.
Absolutely, 100%. So that's what we're going to do after this. We will be back tomorrow with another transfer show, as Alex has just alluded to. But until tomorrow night, thanks to the mods. Thanks to all you lot for watching. Thanks to Stato for his hard work in the background. I wish you all a very good Monday night.
Away the lads and lasses.
Come back and check out some green.